There we go. I can hear you. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
The
It
days of
happens.
the days of modern technology, eh? It's just it never
The
works.
days of modern technology, the days of COVID.
No, tell me about it. How's things with you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What,
You?
yeah, not too bad. Are you in Spain at the moment?
Yes, I'm in Mallorca.
Oh, nice. How's it all going over there? Is it any better? Is things kind of looking towards normalish, or?
It's pretty good right now. Yeah, it's pretty good right now.
I think we're on the road to recovery over here as well. So fingers crossed we can all hopefully get back to normal soon. Yeah, so essentially my name's Jack. I'm from SpitballingPod, and we were kind of going through all of our favourite films, seeing as we're in lockdown. And we've got nothing else to do but watch our favourite films again. So Blade is actually on our list. So it's amazing to talk to someone who was involved in it. And
So long ago.
I know. So it's been.
It's like another lifetime, and everything is just everything seems so different since.
It was also like 23 years ago since it was released. I mean,
do not remind me.
When you were making it, did you think that it would still be spoken about now as this amazing film?
No, I mean, why would I even think that? It was my very, very first film experience. Yeah, it was the first film I ever did. And no, I mean, my head was not there at all. My head was just in the experience. And I mean, it was such a fun shoot, you know?
Yeah. So you appreciated at the time that this was so, because it was groundbreaking as well with the CGI that was used for the time. And
yeah.
It's like so groundbreaking, and it's kind of used as a measuring stick almost for now of how good a movie can be with technology. What was it like to film with that technology at the time? I guess because you were new to everything. How did it feel?
I mean, to tell you the truth, as far as the technology part, I didn't get a feeling much of it because, I mean, the whole film was shot in huge hangars. I mean, there were some few scenes that were shot downtown, like motorcycle stuff, but most of the film, I say like 90% of the film was shot in the studio. Okay. And so we had this insane sets built, and then, you know, like for example, the moment I think it's kind of at the beginning of the film where Stephen Dorff goes to the balcony. There's a pool, and he mm-hmm. And then I give him a bloody kiss, and you see a city in the background, like the night. That was a whole drop. That was a huge drop. That was not like, you know, done afterwards and added, you know, it was not even a green screen or blue screen. It was just a city drop.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the experience like then? Was it like, because I guess it was your first big role?
It was my first role ever, yeah.
Really? So how did you get the part then? Was it like a application process, or did you get scouted, or?
Well, I was already doing like, I was doing video clips. I had worked with some very good directors as far as for music videos, and I had done a few commercials. And I mean, I have a dancer's background. I used to be a classical dancer. Yeah. And then I had this small agency that, as far as acting for cinema, but they just submitted me to Blade. And, you know, I went in and I had jet black hair. And it was funny because I mean, I may be wrong about this, but this is kind of the memory that I had from it, is that when I did the first casting, like I was told, you know, I should be more soldier-like during the casting process. And I said, I don't think so. You know, I said that would be so boring, you know, just to be like mean soldier. Like, I was like, no, you know, she loves what she does. She loves being a vampire. So she has fun with it. And I guess the casting director like let me go with it, and she was super cool. And then I guess Steve Norrington just loved it, and they called me back in. And next thing I know, I was at the hair salon dyeing my hair white.
Your choice, or was that the producer's choice? Did you kind of think this is what's best for Mercury, or?
The white hair?
Yeah.
No, that was Norrington. Norrington was super involved in the creation of the characters. Like even like the whole like look, the costumes, like we had some very good people working in the film and the costume department. The lady, she had some suggestions, and Stephen Norrington was very, very involved. No, I don't want her, you know, like at first I had these costumes that were more like almost like a ancient Greek goddess type. And he's like, no, I see her more like Betty Booish, but white. And I digged it so much more, his ideas. So we talked up, he's such a great guy, and he was so open to ideas and very respectful of everybody's work, but he really had a vision.
Yeah, definitely. Did you stay with it afterwards, or did you go back to black?
No, I went clown red.
Nice. Kept it bleach blonde. I imagine to be recognised a fair bit.
No, I went clown red for fun, and because I remember when we did the release. It was like right after when the film had been edited and worked on. We had a party like before the release, and I have a couple of photos from back then, and my hair is red, like bright clown. And it's funny because one of the people I was invited to, it's just an anecdote because Shaquille O'Neal was invited.
Yeah.
And I had never met Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
And I met him that night, and I had my bright red hair, and I just like, and I was a big Laker fan, and I just looked up. It's like, hey, it's Shaquille. I'm like, hi. And my hand just felt like a little baby's hand while he was like shaking it.
Huge.
I say that because I see a lot of the things also that in your page are sports. So I thought.
Yeah. So we've got two separate ones. Funny enough, I do both. So I do the sports side and the movie side. It's kind of a blessing in disguise this lockdown, because we can kind of just focus on everything that we love. So hopefully when it's all over, there's be new things out there to look at. So that brings actually funny on to Blade being remade. So obviously it's being remade at the moment. Are you going to watch the remake and see how it differs, and you can be interested in that?
On seeing the film, of course. Is it being shot already?
Yeah, so it's been remade at the moment, actually. I'm not too sure.
They're shooting already.
I'm not too sure with COVID and things like that. I know it's in the pipeline. It could be going ahead at the moment because it's got pushed back. But yeah, so is that something that would interest you, having a look at, see how they redo it 23 years on?
I think if I remember correctly, they also got a very good actor to play him. I mean, what I'm most curious about, what I really liked about the first Blade, that I think it lost it a little bit. I hope I won't get bad reviews for saying this, but I think it lost it a little bit with Blade 2 and Blade 3, was that sarcastic, funny, I don't give a fuck side of the first one, and of Wesley's character on the first one. Like it had a very charming, almost, like satire to his dialogue and to his ways. And like he was not so serious. He was not such a like the good guy versus the bad guy. He had his, and I think that's what made him interesting. So hopefully they'll do that with this one, because I thought that's really what separated it from the other two films. Because of course the other two films, the Goya one you know, the special effects, they went even more advanced and stuff. But as far as story, I think the first one is better.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that storyline that Blade has, like you said, where he's the hero, but he's like a dark hero in that sense that, like, you're right, he just doesn't care.
It's not so clear. Like, yeah, he's gonna be a good guy, but you know, it's like he's like a good bad guy, a bad good guy. I don't know, you know. And I like that about characters, you know, these old goody two shoe like characters that just everything's right. I mean, no one is like that, and even less I would think a superhero. I mean, I think of that crazy what's it called, a superhero series that they're all so horrible. Here. Huh?
Suicide Squad, where it's got all of the bad. Can you hear me now?
It's yeah. It's the superheroes that they're all like horribly horrible, like despicable.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, where they do
Yeah,
good things, but bad things for good reasons, essentially.
but they do some horrible things. I can't remember the name of it right now. I can't believe it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going on and on and on about that. But
so, kind of go back to the start of the Blade movie. So you're like prominent in the bloodbath scene. What was that like to film? Is it all blood that comes from the ceiling, or?
So many people got sick because you could not see. You could not see because there was so much water dropping. And so much water, and I mean, just like you were like going up your nose, your mouth, and especially for all the extras, because you know, Tracy Lords and I had our moments where we were being filmed, but to do the whole scene with everybody dancing and whatever, the extras were there way longer than us. I mean, there was one moment even that hope she won't kill me for telling this, but Tracy got in all fours and escaped while it was being filmed because she couldn't take it anymore and just escaped the party. But and then they had like this company that had to bring, I don't know how many outside showers they had. They were called, like, I still remember the showers El Dorado. El Dorado is this place in America, you know. And it was like this biker looking guys that brought the showers, the portable showers, and they had the t-shirts that said El Dorado showers. And I went up to them, and because I'm Spanish, and I was like, hey dude, like this big beard and tattoos and shit. And I'm like, dude, do you know what El Dorado means in Spanish? And he's like, well, it's a place. And I was like, no, it means golden.
He's created that name, must know what he's doing there. He must know.
I was like, dude, your company's called Golden Shower.
That's amazing. What name to pick out of all the ones you could choose? That's brilliant. It's hilarious that you've got these big burly dudes with beards walking around.
Yeah.
So, like the blood that comes out, I mean, it looks like amazing in the scene, but obviously shoots take hours and scenes take hours. So did you just have to like just constantly be drenched in this red water whilst filming that scene?
Yes, I mean, with us, like I said, with us they had to be more careful. There was more with the extras that were there for a very long time, but you know, we only had so many costumes, and I had my hair was bleached, and they had to make a wig for me for that scene, because if not, my hair would have gone pink. Actually, they discovered with the hairdresser, we discovered this by putting this super gnarly grease, like thick thing that mechanics use for their hands when work with oils, so it doesn't get in the cracks of the fingers. So she put that on my hair, so we're not, just in case it got through the wig. So I had that, and we were like, oh my God, this makes such a cool hairdo for like later on the film. But anyway, because it dries and it gets really hard. So she put that after that a plastic cap, and then the wig, but only the wig, because it was done like, you know, it's Hollywood, so everything is done like, it was only the wig was like $3,000. Yeah, because his natural hair is done with my measurements, it's done exactly, you know. I mean, my teeth were made, they were just 2 teeth, and they did it matching exactly my color. And so I would not have like these like weird apparatus that would not let me speak. It was just that the canine, you know. But anyway, so for Tracy and I, it was not so bad. And then once that like Donald Log arrives in Wesley, I think the showers stopped. It's been a while since I saw it, but it was mostly Tracy and I. But no, I felt really bad for all the extras because it was pretty gnarly.
Drenched in red blood, brilliant.
Yeah, but it's like you couldn't see. I mean, you would see these guys just coming up of the hang, like, oh, she's like not doing so well. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, that was pretty grueling. But apart from that, did you enjoy being a vampire? Is that what you enjoyed being?
I loved it.
Yeah. I think I
loved it. I loved it. It was so much. And then that I my mostly with Donald and with Steven Dorff.
Yeah.
And we got along super well. And then I had a chance to work a couple of times with Chris Christopherson. That it's just such an, you know, I mean, I remember him from Garrett and Billy the Kid. You know, he was such an amazing Billy the Kid. And he was just such a gentleman, such nice man. And then with Steven and Donald, we just laughed so much. And also with Udo Kier, another person that I absolutely adored.
Yeah.
Working with, he was incredible. So yeah, it was a very awesome experience. I mean, for our first film, I mean, imagine, you know, I had 3 months of playing a vampire, and it was not like Donald. Sometimes he had to get in so early because, you know, the Donald's character is always getting messed up. So he had some really gnarly makeup he had to do, you know. So he would have to arrive sometimes like 3 or 4 hours before everybody else. And all I had was like body makeup that made me look very porcelain, because my whole body was done in just like, but you know, foundation. It was just all over the place. It was super easy.
Amazing.
And
yeah, I feel like you got off lightly there. Some of the makeup, I feel like you got off very lightly there with just the kind of foundation, whereas like some of these grueling makeup rituals where they've got to do it for like 4 hours before a shoot.
I mean, I'm closing some pages, sorry, just to make sure that, because it may be taking a little, because I hear like certain notice. Hold on, I'll be right there with you, because I should have done this earlier. See if this is better. Yeah. I mean, we stayed friends for very long. I mean, we're still friends, but we used to talk quite a lot more for a very long time. Donald and I mean Steven too, but I used to see Donald quite a bit because just such a nice guy. And
moments from shooting with those guys, and anything that kind of sticks in your mind is like, wow, this is so cool, or this is really fun.
Well, I have, of course, you know, things that happen on sets that unless like the other actors have talked about it in interviews, or like the little secrets. But for example, Donald had this Nabushe, the lead girl. She was always looking forward to the fight scenes. She was really into doing the fight scenes, and I don't know why, she was kind of obsessed with it, and she would get really like serious about it. And there's this moment that she has this fight scene with Donald. Then she heads him, and it's a moment where he's been burned. His whole, like, he arrived at 4 a.m. to get all the makeup, or 3 a.m. So his entire face is burnt. And we had an amazing makeup artist, entire face burned, hands burned. She goes like this and hits him so hard, she dislocates his jaw. So they rush him to Cedars-Sinai's hospital. Except he walks through emergency and burnt makeup with the two. Oh my God, I wasn't there, but they told me later. Apparently, everybody was just like, "Oh my God!" And you're just like, "Oh no."
They must have saw him at the front desk and thought, "What the hell has happened to you?
How can you be walking?"
Yeah, what is going on here? That's amazing. So you were talking about the fight scenes then. So obviously you had like a big part in the Temple of the Eternal scene, and you got a big fight part there. Was it hard to learn the moves for that? Did you enjoy it? What was it like?
Well, I know I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I used to be a classical dancer, so my coordination was already pretty good. But also, we had a month of training before the film, so we trained the fight scenes and stuff. And then we would laugh a lot with Steve Norrington, because I was like, it's like when you love what you do, you kind of, and they say action, you kind of forget who you are, and you just get so into what you're doing that you kind of forget where you are, why you're there, and you just go for it. And Norrington and I used to laugh because the whole temple thing, I have that dress that is open on the side, and I have high shoes. Like, that's why I say Betty Boo. And I was such a klutz. Like, I was like constantly like tripping, and he would laugh at me because then he'd say action, and I was just like, I could do anything. I would not trip anymore. My movements were awesome. I mean, they would like laugh at me because, like, also, for example, the train scene where I have the short pants on like a white raincoat, I was outrunning all the stunt coordinators. I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, they would say action, and I just turned into a freaking vampire.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because watching the film back, I can see you literally at the head of the column running after them.
Yeah, but like insane.
Yeah.
Like I was possessed.
That is some speed you've got there. So that is brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny you should say, because we spoke to the director of John Wick, and he said that a lot of these fight scenes are essentially, it's like dancing. It's like learning a dance routine where it's less fighting and just remembering the moves. So I guess your background there of classical dancing really stood you in good stead there for learning those moves.
And you see that when you see all these movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and things like that, that a lot of these women come from very gnarly classical dance training, and then you put them in and do this insane, like beautiful, but they're very choreographed, because of course you don't want to hit anybody for real.
Anyone's job of making them walk.
Yeah, like I had this thing with Wesley, and it was this punch, like he had to punch me, or I had to punch him. He was taken by somebody and I had to punch him.
Yeah.
And he was being held and it was not happening. And the camera was behind me and it was not looking good. And Steve Norrington was like, "Come on, Arly, you have to do it like this, and you have it." And to me, I was doing it,
Yeah.
And I kept apologizing, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm trying, it's not working." And finally it worked, but I don't know how it happened, because to me, I was doing exactly the same thing. But Wesley goes and like grabs me and whispers in my ear, "Thank you for taking the blame. It was my fault." You could have said something earlier. You in front of everybody, you know.
Yeah, you need to shape up here, Wes, and they used to sort it out for.
No, but he was super nice and super gracious too. He was a very nice man to work with.
Yeah, massive names on that set, and for your first movie, it's probably great to have that experience around you to make it like the whole experience it is, I guess, because you can kind of draw from them. And I guess it's like, I don't know, to take it back to sports, when you've got someone new into the game and they're learning from the experienced heads, that it must be the same in acting, essentially, that you can learn so much.
Well, and many times part of the problem I think that you may have when you begin as an actor, because if you do your work and if you have a good director, there is no reason why things shouldn't go well, unless the team that you're working with make you feel insecure.
Yeah.
Which can happen, you know, like it could happen in sports too. If there is competition, if there is jealousy, if there is like, don't step on my toes type of thing. Yeah. So if it's like one of your first experiences and the crew that you're with, the actors, your teammates, your actor mates, you know, they're all making you feel like you've been around forever, it just makes all the difference, you know. Because we, you know, between takes and when we were in moments that we had to wait, I mean, we were so silly and we played so much and run around the sets and, you know.
Sets that you are on and the props that you have, it'd be hard not to play around with them, wouldn't it, really?
No, you cannot play with those. Those are, you cannot touch. No, the props you can play with, especially when there's guns.
Were they real? Were they fakes? What was the story behind the
No,
props?
I mean, the guns they're firing, like at the end on the club scene, I fired a machine gun.
Yeah.
And there is actually things coming out. Not this way, but there are false, you know, blanks. Yeah. But you have the cases coming out, and it's really like I was holding it. It's really kicking. I mean, we had to also fire arms, not real arms, but because they do have a kick, and they are very freaking loud. So you have to put things in your ears. But you know how in one of the Crows movie, the guy got shot.
Yes.
With a real bullet when he's on top of the table.
It was Jack, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was everybody was firing guns, and one of the guns was loaded. So, you know, in Hollywood, I mean, I don't know how it's back where you live, but I mean, I've worked in France and I worked in other countries where there had been guns. There is no control over the firearms in a set like there is in the US.
Yeah.
Like you have a guy or a woman that is the chief of all that. And when there is guns on a set, the director takes second place.
Right. Okay.
The person in charge is the guardian of the weapons.
Where the nose guns and police guns, probably America, because in the UK, guns just aren't a thing. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't they won't let you they're all on a table. You can't pick them up unless it's your turn. There's always a guardian guarding the guns. So you know they're being controlled the whole time, and no one can pick them up. It's only given it to you when it's your time to shoot with that gun. You have somebody always remind you, point it down, even though they've already checked them.
Yeah.
And then before you're going to use it, you still have to shoot once or twice down before shooting towards anyone.
Yeah, because that's what happened when the guy died. When I think there was a bullet left in the chamber, but they didn't know. When they fired a blank, obviously a blank still comes out of the gun, so it just fired this rubber bullet directly into someone, which is just, I guess that's why you've got to be so careful. Did you get to keep anything from the set? Because obviously it is such a cool set. Did you get to keep anything?
No, not from the set itself.
No.
I kept my tea.
Kind of set in like a jar or something like that.
now it's just like one of those like dentist thingies. But I kept. I can't tell you why because I don't want to get her in trouble. But I just tell you this: I was giving one morning. I arrived on set, and Stephen Norrington and the producer give me a knife, super cool looking knife, like shaped like this, and it's engraved blade in it. And I was like, what's this? And I was already in costume, and they were like, put it in the back of your pocket. You may have to use it. And I was like, what? And they were like, well, we're having some phone calls today, and we may get rid of this character in the movie because it's giving us problems. So you would be the one getting rid of this character, but will not before the end of the day.
So they're setting you up as like a hit woman here.
I'm sorry?
They're setting you up as like a hit woman here, essentially, like an assassin. You're going to get rid of this
which was not on the script. So all of a sudden it was such a surprise. So I guess through the phone calls, they were not able to murder the person that I was supposed to murder on the story. So I never used it, but I kept it. It's super cool knife.
Obviously, all of these kind of, like he's gone through all the safety protocols there with guns and whatnot. Were there any accidents on set? Oh, sorry. Let me know.
Hello?
Let me know when I'm back. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think I'm back now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, we went through all of the safety protocols there with the guns. There's a lot of falling through things, a lot of jumping through glass, a lot of falling downstairs. Was there any accidents on this shoot? Because there seems to be a lot of crazy situations where accidents can happen.
I mean, thank God, like nothing major like this happened in other films. I think that the biggest thing that happened was Donald's jaw.
So did you have to postpone like shooting for that?
No, he just got it put back in place. I mean, they postponed the scenes that he had to be shooting. I was not on set that day. They told me about it the next day. But I had the same thing happen to me in a film. The first film I did in France is called The Empire of the Wolves with Jean Reno, and I had the lead. And there's this moment that somebody hits me with like a rifle in my stomach, and I fall to my knees, and then the Steadicam guy runs towards me, and then I had to fall down, and I hit the monitor on the bottom of the monitor, not the balance, which is like really gnarly metal, on my way down, because he didn't calculate the distance as he was moving forward. And I just went down, and then they kept shooting, and then there's these rats, like 3 rats, they go in my face. But when I fell down, everybody went, "Huh!" because they saw what happened. And I dislocated my jaw. And they had a doctor come in, and we kept shooting.
I mean, this seems like quite a common injury by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I guess.
This trade secret that just at one time your jaw's going to break or dislocate, you just got to deal with it. It's like a prerequisite of it. Working with Stephen Dorff then in this movie, what was he like to work with? What was, because obviously you're paired up together, was it, and you've spoken about before where you stayed in contact and quite close and things like that. So what was it like?
I mean, it was just really fun, you know? I mean, at the very beginning, like, of course, my first couple of days, I was super nervous.
Yeah.
Working with all these people, and first time on such a huge set, and so I was really scared. And I remember, I think it was my first day of shooting, and I think we were doing the apartment scene from the beginning where we're just all hanging out in the apartment and there's the party, and I had my sides for those scenes.
Yeah.
As we were like rehearsing for camera, and I mean, I knew the whole thing. I'd been working on the film already by myself and doing the with a coach, and then doing the fighting stuff. But I wasn't trusting myself because I was so nervous. I was like, how am I going to do this? You know, so I'm like with the page, and like, and Steven came up to me. He was like, Arly, drop him. Just drop him. Just drop him. Just trust yourself, dude. Like, you don't need those. This is like, you're holding to your dear life to this something that is making you even more nervous. Just let it go.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was like our first day. And after that, he was very cool. I mean, he's an actor that, because, you know, when you're on sets, you work with different people that have different ways of working. Like some actor studio guys or women that never leave the role. Mm-hmm. They have to be on forever and ever while you're shooting. So if they're playing an asshole, they may be an asshole the entire day, even if they don't need to be, which is, it must be hard. I've never, but Steven does this thing, which I really like. I don't know if he still does, but back then, which was before action, before we started the scene, he was already like for a few minutes in character, and he would just ad lib. Mm-hmm. He was just like throw whatever could be happening in the situation before. Yeah. And I really like that, because then you didn't have to wait for the moment of action that you start. The whole thing already started. So for me, it was very cool. I don't know if I know there's another actor, and I won't say who, threw them off because he could be such an ass. but it was with the role, you know. So I don't know, whatever.
Well, I guess that makes a better movie, doesn't it? When it's more natural, more seamless.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings me to my final question, which is, do you watch the film back? Have you watched it back? And what's it like seeing your own head explode when you see that on screen?
I've seen the film maybe twice in 23 years.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And the first time I saw it was at the Chinese theater, which was the premiere in Hollywood. So that was pretty awesome, because it's an amazing theater. That's what we did the premiere. It was fun to see my head explode, you know. It was not as fun for my mom to see it, but for me, it was pretty fun. The only problem is that I could have come back for Blade, and I never was able to come back.
Like, did you ever think, right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slick my hair back with this like engineer's grease, and then dress up as Mercury and go out to a club and really scare some people? Did you ever think of doing that?
Well, for the premiere, I went all in black, and I did the Mercury hair and the Mercury makeup. And then one year for Halloween, because I love Halloween, it's my favorite holiday, especially in the States. I was not feeling so well, so I stayed home, and I had all the candy at home. And so when kids would come trick-or-treating, so I would give them candy. But I was dressed totally normal, except I put on the teeth. So the kids would come and knock and go trick or treat, and I would open the door, and I would like, hi.
You actually seem like a vampire then, though, because you're in your natural setting, but you just have these teeth. That's actually more scary in sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I'd been dressed up, they would have seen it coming, because I was totally normal. That's the only time I ever reused them was then.
Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I really, really appreciate it.
Not a problem. My pleasure. And you know, it's cool that people still, like 23 years later, you know, I it's funny because when I auditioned for Matrix 3, or the one with Monica, what's her face? The Italian actress. The super like the Monica Bellucci. She's on the third one. And no, the second one, sorry. And I auditioned for the second one. And the brothers, the directors, and now they're sisters, you know. Yeah, so I went in to meet them, and it was for Monica Bellucci's role. And my hair was kind of like this, a little longer, about same color, but I had longer bangs. And it was very cute because they were huge fans of Blade. And you can even see it in the reference when they have that one woman that is all dressed in white. She doesn't have much of a role. She's got white hair, even though shorter, all dressed in white. Huge fans of Blade. So when I went into that room to meet them, they were both like this. To see Mercury in front of them. And actually, I didn't get the role because they said I looked too much like Trinity. That I resembled too much of the actress. But anyway, that was just a little anecdote. Anyway.
I'll let you get on, but thanks so much.
No
it was really nice speaking to you. Take care.
You too. When will you post this?
It will either be this week or next, but we can let you know as soon as we're going to do it.
Awesome.
Basically, we'll get it edited and then we'll let you know.
Cool. Well, have a good day.
Hey, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.